Welcome back to the Delaware Way. I'm Larry Menti. I am joined now by Jon Brilliant, who is the co-founder of Start-It-Up Delaware. I know you probably get this all the time, but that's a difficult name to live up to.
It is a difficult name, but thanks for pointing that out.
for the 10,000th time,
exactly
probably,
right.
in your lifetime. Explain what Start-It-Up Delaware is.
So Start-Up Delaware began with a simple premise, and the premise was to break down the barriers to being an entrepreneur here in Delaware. We had a space called the Coin Loft, which was formed about 4 or 5 years ago, started by Steve and Wes, and they opened up the door to have people who were entrepreneurs come and share some office space. And that wasn't going far enough. We needed to create an ecosystem here in Delaware. So today, Start-Up Delaware has 3 legs to the stool. The first leg is our co-working space down at 605 North Market Street across from DCAD. It's a place to come and rent a desk, $50, $150 a month, no long-term commitment. Come make serendipitous collisions between like-minded entrepreneurs. You never know what might happen when you spend time in the space.
When you say entrepreneurs, are you looking for entrepreneurs specifically in the tech industry?
Really any kind of entrepreneur. We have designers in there, we have architects in there, we also have tech. We're better suited, and we have some programming, which is the second leg of the stool that more supports the technology. So we'll do classes on Drupal and Ruby on Rails. We've done classes on how to build an app if you're non-technical. We do classes on how to protect your intellectual property when you're starting a company, how to form a company. Should I pick an LLC? Should I pick a public benefit corp? Should I be a C corp? We give you all those tools. So it's not necessarily focused on technology, but that is a heavy part of the startup community that we're forming.
It surprises me because it seems like the goal of every community, every city, every state is to attract more tech and tech startups to their state, but you're not. So the fact that you're not exclusive is a bit of a surprise to me. Isn't that your goal, to be a tech capital?
Well, I think it's a goal of lots of communities to be tech capital, but we also want to support anybody who has an entrepreneurial idea. Now, we're not going to support the retailers. There's Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce and others who perhaps can support them better. And we don't yet have the infrastructure for biotech. That's down in the Delaware Technology Park. They're probably better suited, and that's part of our overall ecosystem. So in general, yes, use of technology is embedded in almost any business, right? There's very few businesses other than service businesses for which technology doesn't play some role. So therefore, we think that using technology as a base can actually expand beyond just pure tech as we think about pure tech.
Why Delaware, though? If I'm starting up, why would I come to Delaware?
It's a good question, and I gave a speech about 3 weeks ago when we relaunched our co-working space, now called the Loft. We took away the coin just to make it more seamless with Start-Up Delaware as part of the ecosystem. And I said I spent the last 12 months actually asking that question. Why would anyone ever come to Delaware to start a company? And when you think about it, it's actually a really difficult question to answer because lots of places have co-working space, lots of places have great lawyers and accountants, and lots of places have capital. What could we do to distinguish ourselves in a way that would attract people? And really what it boils down to, when you're a startup company, you need one thing and one thing only, and that is you need a customer. You need someone willing to pay for your product, your service, your solution. Because if you can't find someone to do that, then you either need to change your business, go out of business, or become a nonprofit. And so when we looked at the landscape of Delaware and said, well, how could we give access to a customer in maybe a unique way that other states couldn't? We pride ourselves on being small, we pride ourselves on giving access. Quickly, 3 kind of industries bubble up in our minds as we looked at this. One is healthcare, right? We have Christiana Care as a dominant player, but they're a big player and they're an innovative player. 2 is financial services. We're home to 2 of the 3 largest credit card companies. And then 3rd is education, which is ripe for opportunity, right? We have lots of problems in our education system. We do have some race to the top dollars trying to change that. We think we can foster innovation in the technology or in the education space.
So I have this great idea. I have this great idea for a tech company, and I want to come to Delaware and do it because it falls under one of the umbrellas you're talking about. Will you give me money?
Today, we don't have that situation. We're raising what we call the Nurturator Fund. And what the Nurturator is, there's accelerators out there and there's incubators out there, right? Accelerators are all about trying to take an idea, put it through a 16-week, 12-week process, and hope that you come out with validation or invalidation after that. Incubators are about providing you some infrastructure, but they don't go far enough. And the Nurturator, which is a term I came up with and trademarked, is really about trying to believe that people, ideas, and companies need to be nurtured, not accelerated, not merely incubated. And especially in healthcare, where development cycles take a longer time. So we're actually in the private sector raising a small seed fund for the Nurturator Fund that actually would provide capital to those ideas.
So simply put, you're just the conduit. They come to you and you help them get money from the private sector, and that's worked so far.
It has. Both get them access to customers, right? Because remember, that's the one thing they need to prove to get capital, that someone would buy it, but then also make the introductions to provide capital. I'm proud to say that within our community in the past 7 months, we've had a new fund stood up called Leading Edge, which is looking to seed fund ideas that are coming. So there's a growing ecosystem. What Paul McConnell's doing at 1313 Innovation in building, he's got a 3D printer down there. So if you want to come and you've got an idea that needs a 3D printer, you can use that facility, right? So we've got this growing ecosystem where we're able to support the different ideas that you may have, or the different tools that you may need, or the different access points. It shouldn't be about that I'm a member of X, Y, or Z club and I'm able to rub elbows with them. We want to break down those barriers, right, and get people who may live at different parts of our community access to other parts of the community in a way that perhaps hasn't been done before.
If I have an idea and I want to work through Start-Up Delaware, how do I get a hold of you?
So you can get me in touch. You can come down to the loft at 605 North Market Street. You can look me up as a unique name as I have. I am the only Jon Brilliant, if you looked on LinkedIn and otherwise. So I'm easy to reach through the loft at 605 North Market.
And you're accepting people from all over the area.
Yeah,
So
we've had success in both bringing people out of the coffee shops. So you walk down to Starbucks, you walk down to Brouhaha, you're going to see somebody on their computer working on an idea. We've actually drawn some of those people out. When we did our relaunch of our space, which is with the support of Buccini Poland, again private sector support, the space looks fantastic. We had 300 people, and as the governor noted, there were about 50% of the people in the room that no one recognized, or that he didn't know, that I didn't know, and that shows that we're bringing people both out of our community, but also they're coming across the border to see what we're doing and see if this isn't a place where we can give them something unique that somebody else isn't giving them.
Yeah, that's where the ideas come from. Who knew Zuckerberg?
Right. Exactly right.
Before he did it.
Exactly
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You lived up to your name. Jon
Thanks.
Brilliant from Start-Up Delaware. We'll be back with some final thoughts after this.